one thing that you mentioned, he's probably going to push my buttons. It's a good place to ask a question about anger. So I'll probably get pissed off at him at some point. I'm guessing. And do you have thoughts from a scientific perspective or also just the personal philosophical perspective about the role of anger in all of this in managing alertness, performance?
I think about this a lot because there's so much out there about how important it is to do things from a place of love.
I tweet about it all the time.
and I think love is powerful, right?
Yeah.
It is interesting that autonomic arousal, alertness, let's just use simple language, alertness physiologically looks identical for love and excitement as it does for anger and frustration and wanting to defeat your opponent or whoever that opponent happens to be. They're identical, except that the love component does tend to be associated with the release of neurochemicals of the serotonin and dopamine type that do have this replenishment component. I don't think one wants to be in constant anger and friction, but I mean, I'll come clean a bit. There have been portions of my career where some of my best work, my extra 2 hours, my ability to nail a really hard deadline or problem has come from not wanting to get out competed or from wanting to prove something. That these days, I'm not oriented from that place toward my work quite as often, but I think we should be really honest. Anger is powerful, provided it's channeled. It's very, very powerful, and it can give you a ton of fuel and gas to push when otherwise you'd tap.
Yeah, Joe Rogan has, aside from being a fan of his, has been an inspiration to to have a kind of loving view on the world in the way you approach the world, to me. So I've tended to want to approach the world that way. But in the same way, David Goggins has been an inspiration to be angry at stuff and use it as fuel. Like he almost conjures up artificial demons in his mind just so he can fight them. But at the same time, I tried that because I did a challenge in the summer of where for 30 days I was doing a lot of push-ups, and it was over time it was counterproductive for me. Like I found that it was easier to just like the roller coaster that the emotional, like being angry at stuff takes you, can also be exhausting.
Oh, absolutely.
And it can take you down. Like the ups of it are good, but the downs are bad. And what I found is better to use it as a boost every once in a while, but mostly to get lost in you're talking about the breath work, like getting lost in the ritual of it, like the beat, like that, as opposed to going on the big roller coasters of emotion.